Season 2, Episode 18 of One Man's Opinion. Today I am reviewing Ireton Playhouse's production of The Great Gatsby, adapted for the stage by Simon Levy, and directed by Todd L. Underwood, running through October 23rd. F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby, a candid, condemning commentary on the greed and indulgence of the ultra-rich of the Jazz Age, is considered one of the great American novels, and one of the greatest books of the 20th century. The story follows Nick Carraway, played by Joe Cordaro, who is spending his summer at a small home on Long Island Sound. His mentally unstable cousin, or should I say second cousin once removed, Daisy, played by Katharina Schmidt, lives across the bay with her bigoted husband, Tom Buchanan, played by Greg Brostrom. Next door to Nick lives the enigmatic Jay Gatsby, played by Eric Kokenberger, who has a sprawling mansion where he frequently hosts opulent parties. As Nick gets established with the people around him, the more the darker side of those people come forth. Tom's abusive treatment toward Daisy, as well as his treatment toward his mistress Myrtle, played by Siobhan Fitzgerald, Daisy's mental instability, the secret background of Gatsby and his secret intentions toward Daisy. All of this leads to a richly tragic conclusion. Ireton's production is overall a success. There are a few missteps along the way, but we'll get there. First, let's talk about the look. Underwood and scenic designer Martin Scott Marchitto have created a gorgeous understated set with simple yet effective Art Deco pillars enveloping the audience in the 1920s. A circular projection screen that sits up center, designed by Tiffany Hopkins, shows images throughout that help elevate the environment without ever distracting the action on stage. Most importantly, a green light that has an important plot point that is revealed later is pulsing almost throughout the entire show in that projection. Regarding the action on stage, well, this is where part of the play works and other parts don't. In the performance the night I was in attendance, it felt like it took several scenes for Joe Cordaro to really develop Nick into a rounded character. He is kind of just filler there at first, as the more colorful characters dominate the action on stage. It's kind of like Bobby and Company in that regard. So much an observer of action that the actor playing the role has to be engaged far more than one would think necessary for the role to be of any interest. Once the conflicts start to blossom, Cordaro takes the reins of his role and brings it to what it deserves. Greg Brostrom does a good job as the racist, misogynist Tom, though he does become a little too one-note baddie at times. I'd like him to be a touch softer in his gaslighting behavior towards Daisy, which would make it a little more believable. Granted, Daisy is not mentally stable, and Katharina Schmidt plays her role to the extreme in a way that can only be described as extra. Her performance is so delightfully over the top. The best comparison that I can draw is Juliet Landau's performance as Drusilla in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angels series. She lives in a world that is her own reality and no one else's. I don't know if Gatsby purists would appreciate Daisy being presented in this way, but Schmidt should be lauded either way for going as extreme as possible with the role and making it her own. The one real weak spot in the cast is Gatsby himself. Kokenberger never successfully embodies the charm and charisma necessary to enchant the people in the world around him. Gatsby's catchphrase of calling the men in his life old man has no appeal or curiosity. After the second or third time of him saying it, it just falls flat, and he says it a lot. This weakens some of the conflict, as much of his appeal to Nick is his ability to charm everyone. The production works, with scene changes moving mostly rather fluid, but there are a couple times when the scene changes don't flow well, and though I get why Underwood chooses to keep a dead body on stage for the last 15 minutes or so, it doesn't work. Emotionally, it theoretically does, but environmentally, it doesn't complement the scenes that follow the incident. I'd rather the person come off stage between scenes than forcing an impact moment that doesn't really need to happen. There are some weak points in Ireton's Great Gatsby, but it is still worth visiting. The story maintains its historic integrity, the design is great, and most of the cast gives a solid performance. But I am only one man's opinion, so be sure to leave yours in the comments below. If you're interested in seeing The Great Gatsby, I'll leave ticket information below. You can support my channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and click the notification bell to be alerted to future reviews. Thank you for watching, and I will see you at the theater.